Hi guys, it's Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my November wrap-up part 2. Now, for the first time in I don't know how long, I have read only 30 books. It's probably one of the least I've read since the start of the year, but I'm not beating myself up about it. I think I've started to realise I need to find the balance between reading and enjoying life. And this month I focused a lot more on my mental health and my physical health and getting stronger. Like I said to you in my gratitude journal, I've now got anemia and low vitamin D, which is starting to get treated, so let's thank God for the positives. As a Christian, that's something I really am doing because I'm finally starting to feel a bit more like me again. But because of that, because I've been struggling for a while, I need to get my mental health back. So that means I'm mood reading more, that means I'm watching a bit of TV. Like I've started doing things like watching documentaries at lunchtime and watching more TV. Watching TV with the family, so things like I'm a Celebrity. I know it sounds dead cheesy, but it's things like that. And actually having time living rather than living through my books. So I'm happy with that. 30 books, but when I tell you the star ratings, that's been a lot better this month. And that's what we wanted to do. I'd rather read less and read better than read more and read crap. So the next minute or two is just the stats. Dead easy. Nothing amazing, but I'm happy with them. I read 30 books. Oh, God, it's nippy here. Sorry, I've got sniffles. They were all off my unread TBR. I gained 30 books, but I did have on haul one unread, which was my DNF for the month. So I've got my unread TBR from 321 down to 320. Now, I'm going to be buying less books in December because obviously with Christmas coming up, like I'm just going to be buying like already this month. I'm filming this on the 30th, so the last day of November. That's another reason why I think I've read less, because last time I filmed on the first day of the month and this time I'm only filming today. So I've only bought 3 books already this month, which is kind of going on to December's, but that's a lot less than what I did last time. So again, that's positive. And I'm happy. I'm a lot happier with my reading. I've read 1 fiction, 1 classic, 2 mysteries, 3 non-fiction, 4 fantasies. I really am discovering a love for fantasy at the moment. Middle grade and YA only really, but again, that's fantasy and I'm loving it. Now this is a shock. 9 contemporary and 10 historical fiction. So I've actually read 1 more historical fiction. But they have been good. I've DNF'd 1 book, had 1 unrated, 1 2.5 star book, 1 3, 2 3.5, 9 4 stars, 7 4.5 stars, and 9 5 stars. So my rating is a lot better. When you compare it to last month I've read 34 books, but I had like 8 3 stars and 3 unrated. And more 5 stars, 4 stars admittedly, 12. But less 5 stars and less 4.5 stars. So you can see that rating is so much better. Like, I'm just so happy with that. And do you know what? That is all that matters. I've read less, but I've read better books. And I've read books that suited my needs better. So, I still don't want this video to be too long because I'm going to fast books for my charity job done today. So I will tell you the books that I've done. I had my DNF for the month was The Reader by Bernard Schleek or something. It was a translated fiction, but for me, very early on, it had a boy doing the deed with an older woman. And that was what the first few chapters were about. I thought, do you know what, I'm not going to carry on with that. Bye-bye. DNF'd. My unrated book, I can't remember which one that was. My disappointing book of the month was the one I bought on holiday, and that's The Witchfinder's Sister by Beth Underdown. This was a real disappointment. I normally like books about witches, but this just, no, it just didn't get me. I think it was just really the wrong. I'm not going to carry on looking for this author's work. I think Charlie from Charles Heathcote didn't like this either, so I'm going to put that away and give that to the charity shop. It was just It's about set in obviously 1645 when it was a wartime, when it was a lot of that, the witches and hunting for the witches. And it's set near Manningtree, and Alice Hopkins' brother Matthew hunts down all the witches, or what is seen to be witches. They're deemed as witches for having miscarriages, if they're unlucky to have miscarriages, for so many things they're deemed as witches. And that was some of the things that happened to these people. It was just, I know that it was back in the day, and obviously I've got a 5-star book that's about witches, and that's far better. And I don't know if that was the thing, I was comparing this to another book that I loved a lot more about the witches, and this just really let me down. So bye, that's not keeping that. Then a book that was given to me by the lovely Charlie from Charles Heathcote, and that is The Soul of Kindness by Elizabeth Taylor. And I've never read Elizabeth Taylor. This is my only classic for the month because I wanted to be gentle after Victober. And yeah, I would think that's like a modern classic, and it's quite good. It's gay. It's got about it's got like 4 lead characters: Flora, Meg, Flora's husband Richard, her friend Meg, Kit, Meg's brother, and it's all about that sort of time. And I don't know exactly when it was written. I think it was written in the 40s, but it was quite a good book. It was definitely one that, like, I'm glad I read. Don't know. It was a gift, so I'm not sure. That's my not sure one. But that was quite an interesting one to read. It was like quite an easy contemporary, which is what I need at the moment. I really need to be gentle on myself. So then I forgot to say, my 3-star book was one it's a 3 stars, but it should have in some ways been unrated. And that's the Wartime Scrapbook, another book Charlie got me. And this is like a scrapbook of wartime. I just wanted something quick and easy to read. And I'm going to keep this because it's got like pictures of wartime. It's got like loads of information about like how the better housekeeping back in the war. So I'm going to keep that as my non-fiction book that I was quite happy with. And it's got like loads of pictures and how they told like the women to be back in those days in the wartime, and just so many like really interesting things. And I thought that was quite good fun. So I'm going to keep that. Believe it or not, I'm already 7 minutes in and I'm already on my 4 stars. All of these books were so good. They're all different. I think I've got any contemporaries that are 5 stars in this second half, but it takes a lot for me to get a 5-star contemporary. But a lot of them are really, really good, and a lot of them are really good fun. So 4 stars for me is something that I've really enjoyed. 5 stars is something I'm either going to want to reread, or in a non-fiction case, I won't. But they're really good. Like, I'm really happy with all of these books. So I've got a lot of contemporaries at 4 stars. I've got a lot of Christmas books because you guys know I read Christmas books this month because I've started off December with the Christmas book. I don't care. I'm not beating myself up. But Time After Time by Louise Pentland. I loved her Wild Girls series, and this is, I think I counted this as either contemporary or fantasy because it has got a bit of time travelling and it's got a bit of contemporary. And this is about Tabby, who's stuck in a small town she grew up in the same job, the same relationship. Sometimes she wishes she could go back and start all over again. Then she meets Fee, a free spirit like no one else she's ever known. And Tabby sees in her friend a chance that she craves. And Tabby's in the 1980s. This one will break your heart. It is 4 stars, but it's a bloody good 4 stars. I'm giving it to Charity Shop because it is, I only got it from the works for like a couple of quid. So I still think, even though I paid a bit more for this, this is one I want other people to read because it's about time travelling. It's about finding what suits you, but there is some triggers in this. So you have to be aware going forward. There are some triggers in this. But I loved it. I loved the relationship, that Tabby has with her family, her friends. It's just a really good feel-good book. And I did love the travelling elements of the 1980s. I loved some of the music. I loved some of that feel to it. I thought it was really good, like, just really good, cosy book. Then to one of my last books of the month, because it was one that I needed to read so I could read another one of this series. And this is Christmas at the Beach Hut by Veronica Henry. By the way, I'm starting to tab up my books so I'm getting them halfway. And this is the next in the Beach Hut series. So I've already read the Beach Hut and the next in that. And this is the next one in that. And this is Christmas at a Beach Hut. And this is about you've got some different lead characters in this. The first one is Lizzie Kingham, who basically her twins are about to go off to university. she's hit that point in her life where she's just been made redundant. She just feels like all she is the parent and just taking the piss out of, which I guess a lot of us mums feel like that sometimes, especially coming up to Christmas. And Christmas is just stressful, so she does what so many of us would like to do and just go bye-bye, and goes off to a beach hut and leaves her family. She leaves a note, but she doesn't take her phone, and she has a break to herself. How many of us would like to do that? I love Christmas because I love Christmas with the kids, but it's at the same breath, roll on Christmas, Boxing Day when I can stop, because Christmas is so busy, and I think a lot of us mums would gladly go bye-byes. But then you've also got like other people in this, and there's a sort of teenager who there's domestic violence. There is a trigger in that, and he goes to the beach, the same beach hut, and him and Leslie end up sharing the beach hut because he's trying to escape, and you've got another person that's going to escape there as well, because they've lost. There is no spoilers. They lost their partner, and they've got a little kid and stuff, and that they're all down in the beach huts. They're down by the sea, they're hiding away from Christmas, and Christmas can be different. And I think that for me is the lesson. Christmas doesn't have to be stressful, it can be what you make it. I love this book, I thought it was really good. It's probably better than The Beach Hut even. Because yes, there was quite a few. Veronica Henry does have a lot of leading characters, but I really enjoyed this, and this is one I definitely recommend. And I will be telling people in the shop to read it. Now to one that I've had on my shelves, so you will see it in my oldest books on my TBR, but now it's not. I think I'm gonna wait and see, but I'm getting through my oldest books on my TBR, and this is a Christmas book I bought years ago. I've recently bought her latest Christmas book, which you would have seen in my book haul, because this is going up slightly later, but this is one of her older Christmas books, and this is about the Little Village Christmas. And this was actually really good. It's my first Sue Moorcroft book that I'm getting, and I'm going to get some more of hers, I think, because it's a real feel-good community writing. Alexa Kennedy is an interior decorator, and she's been tasked to give the little village of Middlelip a community cafe it's dreamed about. And then something happens and things go tits up, and then she meets Ben Hardacre and his rescue owl Barney, and I love Ben. He's just there are some really interesting storylines in this, and I think it's a really good community aspect book, very good cozy Christmas book, excuse me, and one I definitely recommend. I'm loving the Christmas books. There's not been a single one I've picked up badly. Then I picked up one of the Margaret Dickinson's books. I was supposed to read Welcome Home, which was a bigger book that I put on I added them to my TBR for the second half of November, but I didn't feel like it. I don't know why. I put it back on the shelves, and I decided to pick up another historical fiction book, Welcome Home. And this is a wartime one. It's a Margaret Dickinson. It was just one. Because the other one was set in like World War I, and I just didn't feel like I could tackle it this month. It felt too hard hitting. And this is like a family saga book. It's about families. It's about the different things. But again, there are some triggers to some of the things that happened in the war. So be aware of this going in. I did guess some of the twists in this, and I didn't feel the ending was perfect. So although it was a 4 stars, there were some niggles in this that just kind of took it away from me. But I did really enjoy it. So thank you, Charlie, for getting it for me. It was a good book. It was a nice, easy 4 stars. Then to one that I had high hopes for. This was my pick because of in honour of Nikki from Red Dot Reads, because she loved Kate Quinn's book. I will be keeping these. I will be rereading more of Kate Quinn's books, because this is very good. But again, this has some real triggers. Very early on, we find out one person in this, one of the lead characters is in a mental institution back in those days. So some of the stuff that happens in there is very triggering. So go into that being aware. We've got part of the storyline set in 1940, part of it set in 1947. We've got stuff about Prince Philip, which is quite good, and so that's quite interesting. And it's more of a mystery historical fiction, because you want to find out who this person in the prison is. You want to find out how it's connected to Bletchley Park. You want to find out a lot of things like that, and I thought it was really, really good. The charity shop. Then to a 4 stars, which is my fantasy that I loved, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not, because no, I don't think I will, because with these ones you don't really want to keep them all. And this is loved, and this is a Cinderella retelling, a Disney fairy tale retelling. This is Cinderella, but what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper? Unable to prove she's the missing princess, and unable to bear life under Lady Tremaine any longer, Cinderella starts work at the palace as a seamstress. I love this better than I love Cinderella, believe it or not, because Cinderella actually had a bit of a twist and she got some strength that she didn't know she had, and I love this a lot more. This again has more community in the palace, that Cinderella makes some friends, and yeah, I thought this was really good. Yeah, I've still got quite a few charity shops. The next one is a fantasy that I'm going to send to the lovely Chatty from the Mad Chatter. Don't know if you'll get it before Christmas, honey, but we'll see. This is The Stormkeeper's Island by Catherine Doyle. I know that Chatty's met Catherine Doyle. This, to me, is a little bit too scary. It's not scary, but there is some stuff that I don't know why, it just triggered me a little bit more. So even though it's 4 stars, it was really good. I think this is 4 stars, or is it 4.5? No, this is actually 4.5 stars, so this is actually better. But it's part of a series, and I don't necessarily want to carry on the series because I'm not, even though it's 4.5 stars, which is bloody good, it kind of scared me a little bit. Like, I know I'm a bit of a wimp, but this kind of scared me. Once in a generation, Arranmore Island chooses a new Stormkeeper to wield its power and keep the magic safe from the enemies. The time has come for Fion's grandfather, a secretive and eccentric old man, to step down. Soon a new keeper will rise. But there are some really proper spooky, scary bits in this, so she can have that. Scared. I got too scared and I'm like flipping 44. I don't care. Then I picked up another Christmas book that I've had on my TBR for a while. It's Christina Lauren, which we all know is 2 authors. It's in the holidays. It's Groundhog Day, but different. I do not like Groundhog Day books. I find them really piss-taking. They annoy the hell out of me. But this one was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a newish book. I'm going to give this to the charity shop to get rid of, to have, because it's just, I want to share it. I want to share this book with other people. And it's set in America, because obviously, and it's Groundhog Day meets like romance, and oh, I loved it. Loved the characters. I loved May. I loved the people she gets with. I loved the Groundhog Day element wasn't done too many times, so I think that was what made it work in this. And she's asking the universe, please show me what will make me happy, and it just made me happy. It made me really happy, and I loved it, and it was just what I needed, and it was just really good. So please pick this up. If you want a Christmas book to make you smile, this one will make you smile. It was really good. Then to the next one, which is the last 4.5 stars, and I've got 4 or 5 stars, so it's not going to be too long a video. The Key to My Heart by Leah Lewis. Again, I'm not going to keep this because it's another good contemporary, and the charity shop will sell it and get some more money for the charity, which is what I like. Key to My Heart by Leah Lewis. I have enjoyed this book, this author's books. This is about Natalie has had a grief. Just straight away at the start of this book, she's lost her husband, and she's had 2 years. Her life still feels shattered 2 years on after losing her husband. We all know grief doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't tell you when it's going to go. And then she finds a sheet of music that only Ross would know on a piano stall in the St Pancras station. And Natalie realises life does still hold magic, and it's a really good romance. It's a really good book about friendship, about grief, just so many good things in this, and it was a really good contemporary, and it does talk about living your own dreams, not living other people's dreams, and I thought it was really good, so definitely recommend that. Now to my 4 5 stars. One of them I'm not keeping, and you know this, and this is because it's Unsafe by Kathy Glass. I bought it and read it within 2 weeks. It is Kathy Glass's latest book out, that was only out this year, so I'm buying it and taking it straight to the charity shop because they want it back. So it's £1 but spent for a book that technically could have been a library book almost. And this is about Damien, and it's set, this one was written I think just after the first COVID, so not the first COVID outbreak, the second wave of COVID. So you have got some COVID triggers for those of you that still find it hard. It was part of that, and Kathy Glass, I love reading about Kathy Glass and her family because it's not her real name, it's a pseudonym, but it was really good, and it does talk about foster care. There are obviously some triggers, but it's not too triggering, this one. And you've got other people in it, and just, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really good foster care book. 5 stars all the way, but the charity shop are having it. Now I need to decide what books I'm taking to the charity shop. Now to my top 3 books. I've bloody wrote this last one is I put it as historical fiction, which could have been and it is basically a retelling of Black Beauty, or Black Beauty with a bit of a twist, as in Black Beauty's groom is a girl, and it's about a girl who wants to be a stable boy, and her life takes a turn, and she wants to find Black Beauty. Black Beauty and her find a really good bond. She's got the horsey animal bond. I read it in one day yesterday, and I ended the book on I ended the month on a 5-star, because this has all the feels. It's about a girl not wanting to be. It's set in like Queen Victorian times. It's about a girl not wanting to be a girl. She wants to be a stable hand. She doesn't want to be wearing dresses and doing all the things that she should be doing. She wants to be with her horses. And she finds Black Beauty very early on in the book, and they have a bond that is just like no other. I love this book. I'm going to keep it. This is actually a really good keepy, because it was just everything I wanted to finish the month on. Nice big text, middle grade book, and I bought this in London, and I'm going to keep it because I would love to reread this. It gave me all of the feels that I needed, and I loved it. Now, so the next book, 2 books, which I buddy read, and none of the people sneaky peek, none of the people that I buddy read rated these books 5 stars, but I bloody loved them, and I'm not ashamed to love them. The first one is In Memoriam, which was my buddy read with Angela. It was supposed to be Danny, but Danny didn't bloody read it. Cheeky beggar. But it was In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. It's literally just found out minutes ago that it won the Waterstones Award, the new author. It's one of my sister Charlie from Charlie Book Reads' favourite books of the year, and it's going up there with my favourite books of the year. I'm not even going to sneaky wait to tell you it's one of those favourite books. It's set in World War One. That it's so hard-hitting and easy to read in the fact the way the chapters are broken down. It does talk about so many people that died in that war, and you have like little bits, little sections about the announcements about who people have died. It had so many twists and turns I wasn't expecting. So much elements of grief, wartime bits that were tragic, like stuff that happened. And we know it's an LGBTQI romance, and that's tackled really well. It's tackled the fact that the men couldn't be seen to be loving each other. 2 lead characters, very different lives, but they were fighting for the war, and you want them both to get a happy ending. I'm not going to tell you any spoilers, but this had everything that I wanted in the book, and it was 5 stars. It's keepy. I'm going to put it somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put it on my shelves, but it's one of my favourite books of the year so far. I bloody loved it. Now to my last 5-star, and one that again, I read this with Charlie from Charlie Book Reads and Jem from Gemma Books. Neither of them loved it as much as I did. I think they both rated it 4 stars. It started off 5, then went down to 4, then went up to 4.5. And I know that other people didn't like the ending, but for me, the ending made it 5 star. I don't think it's going to be one of my favourites for the year unless it stays in my mind. But it was a very, very good book. We've got 3 different timelines. We've got Kate set in 2019, Violet in 1942, and Arthur in 1619. Both in the same, all 3 of them from the same family, all 3 very different storylines, and I absolutely loved it. Now, Kate's storyline, there are some triggers for that, so be aware of that. There were triggers in, I think, all 3 of their storylines, but for me, Kate and Violet's have both got triggers. But they are handled well. Something I was worried about that it wouldn't be handled well, and I think I got a little bit upset on certain bits. But generally, like actually, it's done really well. Violet's storyline in 1942 was probably my favourite out of the 3 of them. Kate's was hard. It was very emotional. And Arthur's was probably not done as well as I would have liked in some ways, but it was still really good. Both of these women are 3 women that have got they've got so much resilience and so much strength, and they're looking for strength in nature. They're deemed witchy kind of elements in it. It all ties together really well. You do kind of want their storylines to tie together a bit better, but when you realise where it's tying, it's done really, really well. And I really enjoyed it. I absolutely, totally and utterly enjoyed it. Like I said, I've got to decide where it's going, but it was really good. I'm really happy with the way my books have gone this month. I'm really, really happy. And for me, reading less is okay, and that's something I'm going to focus on. So my first favourite of the month is obviously going to be In Memoriam, but I think the book that's staying in my memory from the first half of the month is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. That's just stayed in my head. I'm loving the fantasy, loving it so much. So because of the fact that my books have had higher star ratings this month, if you've got to the end of this video, leave a star rating. Leave a star. Any stars, leave a star. And let me know in the comments down below what have been your favourite books of the month. I'd love to hear. I love recommendations from you guys. And thank you all for your support. You're all absolute diamonds. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, bring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.